Hey guys, what's going on? It's Witted, and today we're going to be talking about massive hemorrhage, right? So the M portion of the March protocol. And the way that we do this is that essentially you're just going to go ahead and scan over your patient, see where the injuries are, and see if they're bleeding profusely. If they're bleeding profusely, that is a sign of massive hemorrhage. If you see bright red blood that's squirting out of them, that is a massive arterial hemorrhage. We want to go ahead and stop that. Now, not all the time is it a very apparent wound that's bleeding like a crazy person, right? Instead, it could be a wound on the backside, or it could be a wound right here in the axilla, right? So we want to make sure that we're actually assessing the patient's back. But if they don't have a clear C-spine, that means that we got to go ahead and do our sweeps, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach behind your head. I'll pull my hands out. I'll look at my fingers. Is there a lot of blood on my fingers? No. Then I'm going to keep sweeping, right? And if I find a lot of blood on my fingers, somewhere behind here or down through the thorax, behind their abdomen, behind their butt, or if I'm doing each of their arms and legs individually and I find a lot of blood, you might want to go ahead and apply pressure to that extremity. Now, I like to go for junctional, so anywhere above this point, basically you have the brachial artery that travels right here, right beside the humerus. You're going to go ahead and hold pressure on that and have their hold their arm up to try and stop that bleeding, right? The other thing that you're going to do is that if it's a lower extremity bleed, you'll go ahead right here in this crest right here, you feel it between the hip bone and their pelvis, you can go ahead and basically make a giant fist and hold all your pressure down on top of that leg or that lower extremity until you see the bleeding stop, right? You try to want to make it as pulseless as possible. Now, if you have it, you can always apply a tourniquet. Tourniquets are great. I recommend everybody carrying around a tourniquet. In Afghanistan, we usually had 3 on us, right? So usually one up here, and we always had the tab out. That red tab lets me know and feel right there that there's a tourniquet there. Now, I want to place those as soon as possible. We're going to do a whole separate tourniquet video, but basically pressure first, ask someone to get you a tourniquet, and then stop that bleeding as soon as you possibly can. So that is the M portion of massive hemorrhage. That's what we're shooting for. Stop the bleeding as soon as you possibly can, and then move on with the rest of the assessment as soon as you've taken care of that, right? So that is a stop and deal with it kind of a moment, right? All right, so I will talk to you guys in the next one. We'll be moving on to airway next. Thanks for being here. See you soon.